Hello, friends. I saw the comments that were like, Icy Vert, dumb pick, Icy Vert, dumb pick. And so I commented, I was like, why is he a dumb pick? Like, I'm genuinely curious. 80% of it was like brain rot. Like, oh, I don't like Icy Vert. Like, you don't know him. Like, you guys have never watched him. You don't know him. You never met him. But then the one thing that stuck with me was like, Icy Vert knows no ball. Every time I watch him in trivia, anytime I watch him in Snapback, on BDG stuff, like, he just doesn't know ball. And this is where I was kind of like, no one in this fucking league knows ball. I started playing fantasy football actively again 2 years ago. I went to the chip, and then I won the league in this bitch-ass league. Fucking, I'm looking at Gut right now. Gut doesn't know ball. In terms of Icy Vert not knowing ball, like, no one in the league knows ball besides, like, me, essentially. So, if anything, like, I think we should kick Tony out of the league, personally.
Today is Friday, July 17th. We are about 5 weeks away from the Idiot League Mates draft. The main problem we're having right now with doing all of the prep for your Idiot League Mates, a few things. First off, my end, I'm handling all the softball stuff, whatnot. The main thing from softball right now that I have to figure out, we need a permanent pitcher. I need to see the actual backpack itself to see what we can work with. I need to make sure field has the net for the pitcher. Don't want him to just get hit. We need all of that. I might ask John Boy to help us out with something of that, of like some of the equipment stuff, because I don't think we should buy it. It'd be a waste. Probably gonna ask about that. So those are like the little things I need to clean up still about the actual softball game. Make sure everyone's like good to roll. The other stuff for YILM is
to try to get moving on the committee, because this is obviously a new idea and we want it fully fleshed out so we don't run into a bunch of problems throughout the year. We want to make sure everything is like solidified up front, of course. So Jack and I hopped on a call for a few hours earlier this week to try to get like a foundation of what exactly the league committee is obviously made up of, because anytime we try to do things with like 12 people, you guys are in fantasy leagues, you know how it works. It's impossible to get everybody on the same page at the same time and like get shit moving. So Jack and I wanted to like get the structure of it first, and then any open items that we had about the committee, throw it into the group chat and then see what happens. Let's talk league committee.
I don't think it's that complicated. I guess the question is, how much finger on the scale are we comfortable with? You know, like there was something that they proposed that was like 12 wins and you're locked in, which is similar to like college football playoff, right? If you win your conference, you're locked in. Foresee a scenario where like you win 12 games and people are still voting you out? I guess that's the first question, is comfortability with like how much the committee can influence. Are they just picking the last 2 spots and then they're seeding all 6? Or hypothetically, could they take the third best record out of the playoffs if they saw fit? Which happened, right? With like Florida State, they lost their quarterback. Yeah.
In my mind, the way I was thinking about it was like, I think they're picking the 6 teams to be in, just like raw. They basically have all the power. Do I want them to like be putting their finger on the scale to an obnoxious amount? Of course not. I think what might help us most is figuring out what they're selecting of the 6 teams. Is it the best 6 teams up to that point? Is it the teams that they think will have the strongest, claim to the championship after week 14? Is it, I think it might be the best to look at it that way and then work through it. Our league functions very much like any of your guys' leagues, where you just have people that like to just complain about shit for the sake of complaining about shit. And you're going to get pushback about this or that for no reason. I don't even know why we get it. But the ultimate foundation of the committee is going to be this. Still is not set in stone, because I still think we have some things to iron out here. We're going to have 4 people in the committee physically, and then a 5th fan vote for you guys. So we're going to build something out where you guys can submit your rankings, 1 through 12 of the power rankings for the teams every single week, and that will count as 20% of the average of the overall rankings. The other committee members, give you a little sneak peek so far. You guys have probably watched the trivia tournament up to this point. If you have not, I will just say the winner of it will likely be on the committee. So I think you guys will be happy about that. We will have
Pete Overzet. You might know him if you watch other fantasy football content. He has been on the BG channel before. Great guy, for content especially. He's a very likable, funny, great host. So I think he's a good piece that's not really a part of BDG at all or Snapback that could be added in.
Who I think is going to be a fucking phenomenal addition to the committee. And I'd actually imagine he's going to end up leading the committee because he's very strong in content, does tons of live streams, always hosts things. So I think he'll probably end up being like the guy who, you know, kind of makes that part of the show his own. But I'm excited for everybody to kind of compete there. We obviously wanted to have like level-headed people who aren't super biased towards any one way or the other.
We've got Sean, who works at Snapback, level-headed guy, not going to be biased. Even though he works for Snapback, I still trust that he won't be biased.
Sean, who heads operations of Snapback. Good guy. I don't know how much content he's been in for you guys. If you watch the flag football game he plays each year.
I want to say we're going to have the audience as a whole be one of them. So like the audience will give their each give their own rankings, and with whatever the average is of that will be audience ranking. You don't need to be messaging me or anyone else like, can I be a committee member? Because I don't think we're going to have like another specific audience member be a committee member, because we've already got Big Cat from the audience, then the audience as a whole. I think adding a third one does make sense. The fifth spot is where things get a little interesting.
And so I'm really happy with those three, and I hope we find a good fourth member. There was also, that was one thing I did care about skimming through the group chat. There was debate about the fourth member being just like another random fan from the audience or like someone in our network. Like, is it, again, a random fan, or is it like Hoodie Allen? Is it Justin Pennick from John Boy? Is it Dalton from John Boy? Is it, I don't know, just any one of our like creator friends? And I would prefer that over a fan in the audience, because we already have, like I said, Big Cat representing the audience. We already have the fifth committee member pretty much being all public members that are watching audience members. Like, do we really need to give a third powerhouse vote to someone we don't even know?
We've also talked about Hoodie Allen being one. Hoodie really wanted to be in the league, and he was definitely in consideration, but I want to say because we needed a Snapback member added, in that being Icyvert, he was not able to make the cut, unfortunately. But he could be a committee member. I know he does watch the content, so he would fit for the committee.
I'm pretty all for Hoodie Allen. One, because I'm biased, because I really liked Hoodie Allen when I was growing up as a kid. Would watch Faye's Illcam trick shots videos. He usually was like the background music to that, like I Am Not a Robot. Pretty sure it was like Faye's Adapts, one of his Illcam montages. I could be completely wrong and mixing things up, but you know, like him, Logic, when Logic was first coming up, you know, that's like a whole different tangent. But he also like watches the vlogs. He might even be watching this fucking vlog, and he also watches Your Idiot League Mates. So I think he's got my vote for it, because he is very interested in company in the league, and I feel like he was pretty cool dude to, you know, have as another committee member.
Don't have that down yet. We might do fan submissions, but we're getting some pushback of like having 2 of the 5 spots, actually 3 of the 5 spots now, technically with Big Cat being fan voted, and we don't want to do that. We still want to have like a presence of people that we know personally kind of having their hands on the league.
I don't have a problem with the guys right now that we're talking about being in the committee. I think the numbers are good. I think having a certain amount of guys, like maybe even bringing a fan in, whatever it could be, would be awesome. I think that would be a good move for us. I think it would create excitement. I think it would create awesome content. We'd be arguing back and forth, selling why we should do this, like our team's good in this. I think that's what we need. I think that's fun. I think that's the thrill. That will get every single person not only watching, but like in it, so involved, because you're not only selling your team to the audience now, which is what we've been doing for the past few years, is my team still can, like I had that whole speech last year. We're still in it. We're not out. Hunter Henry, keep finding that end zone, buddy, because you're going to stay on the squad. Jalen Waddle, we have no idea what's going to happen, but we're going to assume he's going to figure it the fuck out. And Dak fucking Prescott is a unit, throwing the ball 40 times per game, going into double OT, saying fuck you to the best team in the league, and giving it all. In like week 3, that's when we went on like a 5-game losing streak. Like that's the sort of stuff you have to sell your team to the audience. Last year I feel like we couldn't do that because of like that little like ground we had of like guaranteed teams in, and we the top 2 seeds, and I was in division with 2 powerhouses, and my team like really had no shot to even like make a wild card seed. Like we're now, it's like I would have a wild card, I could win 7 games and maybe get in. All that matters is how your team finishes. That's peak. That's ball. You start 0-6. You can finish the season 7-6 or whatever, or I think it's 14, so it'd be 7-7, whatever it is. And then week 15, 16, 17 are playoffs. You 14 regular season games, you finish 7-7, and your 7-7 team's better than this 7-7 team who started 7-0, 6-1, and fell off the face of the earth. You might have the same record, but one team's fucking hot and gonna get in that spot. The other team's fucking not. Might have 2 more points for than you because you started so bad, and they would normally get in, but now they won't. That's fun. That to me is fun. I think that make good content. Maybe people disagree.
I actually think my vote for the last committee member would be, honestly don't think Hudson's crazy because like he's came into the office, he's very level-headed. Like I think he'd make an unbiased vote, or whoever we have editing Idiot League Mates, because that person is going to be so close to the content. They will see every confession. They will see every play. They know the rankings of every team. They know the flaws of every team, the strengths of every team. No one's going to be watching it closer than the league, than the editor. So that would be my vote for the 4th committee member. Person with the strongest pulse would be the editor, a creator friend of ours, and then I'd have the fan be last, again, just because we already have Big Cat.
And then with the committee being new, we're like still trying to form, okay, is it just free for all? 6 spots, they rank them. The way that we have it set up, and I think what the proposal ended up going through was 6 spots are open. We are going to do 2 auto bids. So the most points scored throughout the season and the best record are automatically in the playoffs. If that happens to be the same person, then only 1 auto bid gets in. The other 5 or 4 spots will be open for the committee to end up selecting. Everything's going to be reseeded though.
In the end, even though I've been advocating hard for no auto bids, I don't really think it matters, because if there's auto bids or not, the teams that would have received auto bids are going to be in the playoffs. We're not going to have committee members. We're going to see a team that is 12-2, doesn't matter how bad their team is, and be like, your team sucks, we don't like it, so you're not in. Like, if you are that high in the standings, if you have the most points scored in the league, you are in. We're going to have the committee say that. I just don't see a reason to have auto bids, because then it can add more layers of confusion. I just don't think it really needs to be a thing, but people are advocating hard for auto bids. If there's auto bids, whatever, I think it just, adds an extra layer that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I think for the most part, this entire change is really going to revolve around teams that are from 5 through 8, those last 2 spots. Like, I do think at the end of the day, the 1 through 4, the best records, like, are not going to have.
Where the committee plays a part in 1 through 4, though, is reseeding, right?
Sure.
And and getting the buy and campaigning for the buy, I think. And so if there's 2 buys, maybe it's either best record or points for locks the buy, and then that second spot, I think once again you can lock people in to those spots because regular season has to matter a ton. I agree. It's going to be 4 through 6. What we're trying to solve for is keeping the 5 and 8 team, engaged. And if they make a really compelling argument and they make the right roster moves, then they have an outside chance to do that.
Yeah, what I had written for criteria was record, strength of schedule, points for, points against, head to head, taking into account injuries and bye weeks in terms of those strength of schedule matchups, managerial decisions, sit start, waiver wire, how are you managing your team overall, not how engaged you are in the league per se, because that's not necessarily a factor, but it could be, I guess, if we want to throw it onto the outskirts, because if we're looking at it from more of a content perspective, it's not, it doesn't make you a better fantasy player, but it does matter for the league.
For content, I think that is a decision we should make. Is it shouldn't be based on your following, how much you're promoting the league. More, did you build a narrative? Did you build a storyline throughout?
So there might be a world where the number 1 overall, the best record is 11-5 or something, whatever, 11-4, 11-3, whatever the fuck it is. But they end up having the 4th or 5th most points. Just time. You guys played in fantasy, you know how that shit works. So they might not get the number 1 or 2 seed. It's basically going to be and the league committees is going to base it off of many factors, but for the most part, the number 1 thing will be your performance in the regular season. So obviously, if you have a really good record, you have a strong team, you have a lot of points scored, you're going to be safe. And I think for the most part, looking back on it, we're not going to see a ton of teams get in or get knocked out. That really shouldn't be. I think maybe it'll be super exciting by the end when we have 3 teams on the bubble, and you're, just like college football, just when they're picking March Madness brackets or whatever, it's right on the bubble, who gets in, who gets out.
I think Guttas thinks they should be able to decide everything. That's how college football is. That's how I feel like it should work. I think people are overestimating like how fucked they would get. I genuinely think the committee's probably just going to pick the top 6 teams. Like, I don't think there's going to be that much discussion. And maybe me saying this now, I'm going to look back at this moment and be like, I was the team that was left out because I was the 4 seed and all my team got hurt, whatever it is. But I think there's a reality to where it's like, JMO last year's a perfect example. Start out the year like 6-0. Team absolutely fell apart, was in shambles. That team should not have been in the playoffs over like another team. Like, let's just say like another team was balling out. Like, that's the only decision they're really going to have to make. Like, the top seeds are fine. You're going to have to lose, like how JMO lost Malik Neighbors, Tucker Kraft, Jordan Mason went down. Like, all these differences. Emeka sucked. Like, there was a ton of things that happened to where his team just fell apart. Not anything he did, but it just fell apart in front of him. Those are the decisions they have to make. But, like, at the end of the day, again, if you have so many wins and your team looks good, like, they're not going to just leave you out, which I think we're a little bit over exaggerating of like, oh, they could pick this person because they like them more. They could do like, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just going to be pretty cut and dry, straightforward. Hey, this is what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be many mistakes at all.
So things that will be considered again are like your record, your points for, points against, strength of schedule. Did you beat teams when they were on the bye weeks, when they had a heavy bye week? Did you beat teams when they were heavily injured, and vice versa? Are you getting a bunch of like 90-point wins because that's not overly impressive? Like, how did you manage your team? Like, did you have great waiver wire pickups? Were you actively trading? Are you engaged in the league? Those are more minor things that are more like tiebreakers, but we're trying to think through, if there is tiebreakers needed at the end of it, and the committee felt like, oh, these guys were both playing really hard. These guys both have the same record. Their points for is about the same, like strength of schedules, whatever. Like, we need, a little bit of breaking points just for conversation. I think the league committee, the way it's going to work for rankings, they're going to do an initial ranking set right after the first draft, right? And that'll be 1 through 12. That'll be like the preseason rankings in college football. And then we actually won't have a release of the league rankings until after week 4.
You don't want like week 3 to like, people will anchor to that. That's a problem that we have with like SEC bias, right? And people are like, oh, they beat the 12th best team. It's like, well, you ranked all the SEC teams. I think let the records play out and let the league kind of shake out a little bit. Do you feel differently?
A little bit concerned that if we wait too long, it's going to water down like the intensity of it. Like, if the whole league is kind of centered around these rankings and we wait until like week 6 or 7 to unveil them, I agree with you. Like, in theory, that makes sense and would be the best overall. But I think thinking about it from like a fan perspective and audience perspective, where it's like they got to wait 6 weeks to see the first rankings of it, and maybe it's not week 1, like maybe week 1 doesn't make sense, maybe not even week 2, but I do think like 3 or 4 might feel like the right range.
I almost feel like it's like just have the first set of rankings come out after the draft, or just wait till later. And if you're keen on it being early, like
that is kind of fire. Like, preseason rankings are kind of sick.
Right. Like, that's so much better than Yahoo when they grade your draft on some bullshit.
And I do like that because you could almost start building your own narrative. Like, after the draft, like, people, the judges are going to rank the teams or whatever. And then it's like, if I get ranked 11th and then all season I'm like dominating, I'm going to fucking go crazy on that narrative the entire season, Just like calling them all non-ball knowers, like for 4 months at that point. Okay. I like that.
All right. So we'll do it right after the draft.
We'll do a preseason rankings right after the draft.
So we're going to play out a quarter of the season, basically, and then the first set of rankings will be released. And then every week after that, every committee member will submit their 1 through 12 rankings, and then based on the average of all 5 committee members, those will be the rankings. But when it gets to week 14, it'll be more nuanced. It won't just be an average, which I think will be super fun. We're going to have a live stream involved where they're going to discuss and talk through their rankings and then re-rank after that, where you guys will be able to be in the public live stream talking through your thoughts on the league, etc. So you guys will have a pretty large hand in the conversation and where things are going. And if you have really good points to bring to the chat, I think that'll actually make a difference within the league committee selection. So it's very much first of its kind. I would say the pros and cons, it being new and innovative, could be really exciting. I would say cons are like, it could be very confusing for the audience. I think at the end of the day, for the most part, the 6 best teams are likely going to get in. I think there's very little chance that like a really strong team or with a really strong record who's like 3rd or 4th ends up getting knocked out. So I don't think it'll really be at the end of the day that big of a, like, holy shit, I can't believe this guy didn't get in, or holy shit, this guy did get in, because again, it's spread across 5 people realistically
hopefully at least 3 to 4 of them are reasonable, so that like everything kind of naturally takes its course.
I'm starting to at least think more about how exactly we want content to run this year. I think we'll get into another meeting next week about content specific things. Like I would like to, when we're watching the games on Sunday, us be live streaming them and be able to put up graphics of like updated scores of specific matchups, and then that could easily be turned into good clips that could be put out a lot faster. So I think that would mainly be something that like Hudson would have to look into, because I don't know very much at all about live streaming. So if that's something that he thinks we can do, then that's something that I would like to be able to do this year. There's also matchups of the week, which I think would be cool. I don't know if we've talked about it at all, but essentially you guys would be able to vote between the 6 matchups that happen each week. You can vote on which one you want to be the matchup of the week. And then the 2 people involved in that, they have to like make a lot more content of like live reactions to things, almost as if like they were the final 2.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much where we've left it at right now. Have to grab the last committee member, have to, write up an official document for the committee members, make sure that we know what their responsibilities are. They will be submitting video content that we will have a weekly episode on, where they talk through their rankings, the biggest changes in the league, etc. And then obviously, again, with the advancement of technology, we're going to be hopefully building out a lot of like tools and pieces of software that make tracking the league really, really simple for you guys at all times, seeing scoring updates live, seeing any transactions that happen. We're also going to have a lot of different twists that allow you to engage with the league a little bit more. I'm thinking about opening up like a forum each week on the website where you guys, like week 1 opens up, you guys can start chats and it'll be like a Reddit forum kind of about the league. We're thinking about doing like highlighting a matchup of the week where like each opponent has to like vlog them watching the games, and like it'll be a specific focus on them, and then maybe you guys are the ones who like vote for what the matchup of the week is. So you want to see Casey and content all the time, you keep voting for him, or if we have the 2 best teams at the top playing against each other, like those kind of things. So yeah, it's still like relatively early in the summer. We have a month and a half to really like flesh this thing out. The utmost confidence that we will end up doing so. But again, it's new. I just want to make sure we don't get to a point in the season where it's like, fuck, we didn't think about this one thing, or here's an edge case that we didn't think about, and it does end up changing like the factor of the league, or it does end up being like a huge fucking difference in something in the league. And that shit just sucks as a commissioner, which I've pretty much just taken on that role now. So
other than that, I'm just kind of like waiting for draft day. Everything up until then, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's gonna be like, regardless of the committee, regardless of the rules, regardless of the arguments, like, did you draft a good team or not? That's what matters, and that's what I'm hyped for draft day. I'm actually like super out on everyone this year. I think everyone's gonna get hurt. I think everyone's got regression. I'm hyped just because I'm like, I don't even know who my guys are. I don't have much else to give you guys.
Just excited for football to be back. Excited to be optimistic about the season, and then just be depressed on Sundays. 1, as a Jets fan, and then 2, hopefully not so much as a fantasy football player. Like, hopefully, like last season where I was having a great time because my team was winning, I can offset the balance of me being absolutely fucking depressed because I'm a Jets fan with my fantasy team being pretty good this year. Because I can't live again with two of those things happening. Like, first year, winning 2 games and having the Jets suck ass and Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles. I mean, we're at the bottom of the fucking barrel. We're at the top of the cliff looking down, thinking there's nothing to live for. But excited for this year. I've got to start diving into Unk's videos and start watching who the fuck some fantasy football content, because I have watched nothing. I just really want Jahmyr Gibbs again. That's it. It's literally the only person I really want. Jahmyr Gibbs. He was awesome last year. I loved watching him. He's one of my favorite players in the league right now. Sick having him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for your league mates to be back. I feel like because I've actually been here the entire time leading up to the season starting this year, it makes me more hyped for it. Because last year I came in and like the season started like the next day. It'll also be the first time I'm here in person for the draft. Very excited about that. Been a long time since I've done like an in-person draft. And yeah, it's a lot harder to contribute when you're over Zoom. You're kind of just sitting there in the corner. But yeah, pumped for football, pumped for your league mates. Let's get it.
I'm very excited for it to get going. I'm really excited to go to the bar, meet a lot of you guys after Casey does his punishment. I think that'll be a ton of fun, as well as just be all together during the draft. It's a ton of fun with the draft because there's so many creators, there's so many minds, there's so many fun personalities with the softball game we're going to be playing. I think it's going to be a really dope opportunity and time. So I'm excited for it all. you enjoy this style of video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Also, to fun shit down below. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.